Hello and welcome to City Focus. I'm Diane Gonzalez. On January 16th, the nation will again take the time to honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The birthday of Dr. King is observed here in Lincoln with an annual youth rally and march, an event that is celebrating its 22nd anniversary this year. Joining me to talk about the event are Pete Ferguson. He is the event advisor and he's been working on this event for 19 years. He is also the LPS Youth Development Coordinator. Also with us is Callie Manser. She's a junior at Lincoln Southwest, and this is her first year of participating. And Michael Wilson is a senior at Lincoln East. He is in his second year of participating in the rally. Thank you all so much for being here. Pete, I'm going to start with you for a little bit of history. Tell us how this all got started and how the event has evolved over the years.
Well, it began in 1993 with a call to act from the late Dr. Leola Bullock. And those who know Dr. Leola Bullock, when she makes a request or calls you to act, you listen and you move forward with it. And it was significant because she recognized that the significance and the role that Dr. King not only played in her life, but was playing in the lives of so many others. And as she noted that her and other elders were quickly, and not quickly, but were carrying on that message, and she felt it was important that youth understood the meaning and the impact that Dr. King had on them, not only just in the history books, but also how tangibly what he meant to them and the role that he played in their opportunities, their successes, but also the challenges that they were facing. And so with that, she kind of came out of the Youth Rally in March in 1994, which was a wholly run youth experience. And so the neat part about it is that youth gave input, youth provided the speeches, youth provided the content, youth provided the theme for the experience. And they met weekly, planned everything, and then it culminated on the steps of the County City building in 1994 on a cold day with I Have a Dream speech given by Johansi Christie, who was then a scholar at Lincoln High School. Sarah Bartek, who was a student at Lincoln Southeast High School, gave some opening remarks and just spoke on the impact that Dr. King had on not only them, but the community and the nation as a whole. I think the nice part about it is we've progressed where we have scholars from third grade on up to seniors in high school that have been involved. It used to kind of primarily be one school that was involved. I'd say Lincoln High School predominantly carried it. We've had individuals from Raymond to Norris to Pius to every high school, as you can see here, with scholars from Southwest to Lincoln High to East High School, as well as a lot of the middle schools and elementary schools who have come to the table. Because we think it's important that we have an experience that educates, inspires, and entertains a really diverse audience of individuals that are 4 to 90 years old. And as Dr. Bullock really talked about, she wanted people to make sure that they spoke out and stood up to recognize the successes that we've had and the progress that we've made, but also not forget those challenges that we still face and where we came from. And so I think that's been the really nice part about the rally and the march as it's moved forward for those last 19, but ultimately those 22 years.
Right, and after 22 years, it remains very much a student-run event. Callie, why did you decide that you wanted to be involved this year?
Oh, well, I had a teacher reach out to me and tell me about the event, and I heard about it in the past, and I was very interested in becoming more involved in my community and seeing the history that's been cultivated by this event and seeing to further that future of it. And so I reached out to Pete through email to learn more about the meetings and see if I could become interested and become a part of this big event.
And talk about the theme this year. Every year, the students choose a theme. Talk about this year's theme and what it means.
Well, this year's theme is His Dreams Were the Beginning, and Youth Then and Now Shape the World as Comets Impact the Sky. And it was really centered around the Harvard graduation speech from last year that was talking about how youth were growing the future and how we so much resembled the impacts of comets in the sky, and seeing how that kind of big and tremendous event can happen and occur and cause great change, and how youth in everyday life become a part of that and become a part of that change and make the world a better place through it.
And so what is your role in the event this year?
I'm going to be giving a presidential acceptance speech, so if I was about 35 and running for president. It's a very interesting piece, and it's all my words, and I'm very excited to present it because I love the idea of not only seeing the impact we're having now, but seeing the future that we can project in ourselves and growing towards that and seeing the change that we want to make now and then continuing it throughout our lives.
Mike, as we said, this is the second year that you've been involved in the event. Talk about the mission of the event and why it's important to the students.
So the mission of this event is to educate, entertain, and inspire just people from across the community and let them know about Dr. King's dream and what we're doing to still enact that today.
And what will your role be in the event this year?
I will be giving the opening in the rally, and then as well as a piece from the Harvard graduate, his graduation speech poem. It just that talks about how that's sort of where our theme comes from this year, is about how comets impact the sky and how us as youth can impact the world.
Well, tell me how Dr. King and his important work has impacted you and your family.
Dr. King's work, well, I mean, obviously, you know, I can go to a school that has wonderful academics now, as opposed to being segregated off into a historically, you know, in all African American school. I can interact with peers. You know, I'm able to participate in athletics. You know, my team's WEPO team, student council, and just various things throughout the community. So I think that's one way that he has enabled me and our family to interact and participate in other things.
And Callie, what work do you think remains to be done, and how and when will this work be accomplished?
Well, I don't know if we can set a deadline for this kind of work. It's something that we're always should be expanding towards and working to better ourselves and working to better our society and our communities. I think that society and people always need to work towards not only tolerance but general acceptance and learning to understand and act and work together with everybody regardless of who they are, and making sure that every day they go out and they do their best work that's going to benefit everybody and not just a specific group.
What do you see as the civil rights movement of your lifetime?
Well, I think the civil rights movement is just continuing today, expanding off of Dr. King's work, and then expanding. Right now our focus is we've grown in a huge spectrum, not only working towards bettering the rights of people of color, but as well as working towards all women's rights, LGBT rights, and then refugee rights as well, working towards to prevent xenophobia, and as well as just bettering the community, working towards classism. And then when it comes to youth and the work we're working towards mainly right now is closing the achievement gap, and then working towards those gaps that exist in our society and are inhibiting people from doing their best.
Now, Michael, why do you think it's important for people to attend?
I think it's important for people to attend just to see that the youth are still carrying out Dr. King's dream today and touch on issues that we still face in today's world, and how we've identified those and what they can do to help change in some areas that we may need some help in.
Pete, you had some comments about that as well?
Well, I just think, you know, as adults, one of, our mission statement talks about promoting positive youth action. And that's something that, you know, a lot of people don't realize the youth played a significant role in the civil rights movement. I think actually they were really that turning point when you talk about the Birmingham Children's Crusade, you know, when over 800 youth didn't skip school, but they left school because they were seeking not a separate but an equal type education. SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which was comprised of young people their age and not much older, led by John Lewis. The civil rights movement became, I don't want to say national, but meant something to everybody when individuals saw on TV that young people were getting sprayed with thousands of pounds of pressure of water hoses. Canines were attacking them. Youth 12 to 13, 14, 15, 16 years old were getting beat with nightsticks. And you had people, black, white, races, different genders, sitting in their homes saying, I can't imagine what somebody of that age would do to deserve that. And so when you talk about why you should come out, I think it's not only remembering the past, but remembering where we can go in the future, but it's promoting positive youth action. And so too often we like to say, what youth aren't doing, what they're doing wrong, what they're not doing right, but here's a prime example of something that they are doing. to give back to this community, to inspire this community to pursue a path that will make it what we want for each and every one of us.
Pete, talk a little bit about the support that you get from the community. The Lincoln Public Schools obviously are very involved, as well as the Lincoln Journal-Star, the Malone Center, your family, some individuals as well.
You know, it's not just one person that can do this. We are very fortunate that we've had the support of the community over the last 22 years. Everybody who performs or is involved has either donated either their time, talents, and treasures. Like you mentioned, the Lincoln Journal-Star is very gracious, and Mary Wexelman and Ava Thomas for supporting and putting a program together and laying that out. Lincoln Public Schools has been very supportive. The Clyde Malone Community Center hosts our meetings weekly, and we just really can't think of a better place to meet than the Clyde Malone Community Center. We have other individuals, Todd Fitzgerald and his family has been very supportive, and I just think it's very unique when somebody calls. You know, oftentimes when you talk about collaboration, the first thing people ask is, what are you willing to give, or what are they going to get out of it, not what can they give. And so when we get those phone calls of saying, you know, how can I be a part of the rally? What can I give to you to help make this a success? You know, we have Emily Koopman, who's been a past member of the rally. Last meeting, she made chili for the entire group for the meeting. And I mean, for 20 people, that's, you know, that says something. Everybody gives in the way that they can. And so I think that's been, to me, the neatest part about the event, when you have alumni like Brittany Hodges, who now serves as an advisor, who now has 2 children of her own, that comes to weekly meetings. Dr. Kirkland, the university, you know, is gracious enough to let us use the Ballroom, and the TRIO program, who, you know, serves as a sponsor. I mean, you don't get that for very many experiences like this. The city of Lincoln is gracious enough to help us with the parade route and the permits, and, you know, Chuck Hubka at the Capitol, and I could go on and on, who make this, even behind the scenes, a reality to have such a significant experience that 500 people plus attend.
Yes, it usually is pretty crowded in there. But it's a great environment. Callie, talk about what you have learned from being involved in the event this year.
I've learned a lot this year. I've learned a lot about the history of the event and all of the people who have been involved. While I've heard about the event in the past and I've attended it a few times, I didn't know the deep, rich history that existed within it. And then I've also learned just so much about the experiences of my other students that I get to meet from other high schools. This event has really allowed me to connect and meet a lot of different people and learn a lot of new things, as well as just take away little lessons when it comes to writing these speeches and hearing these pieces and watching the videos that inspire our theme and then inspire the event we're going to have.
And Micah, talk a little bit about your future. How will the experience of being involved with the rally carry on in your future in academics and in your work?
Well, I think the rally really has just given me a ton of experiences and opportunities to have me be involved in the community. And I mean, one way I know for sure is just public speaking in general. You know, I'm doing things like this in front of the camera, and then I'm giving a speech in front of, you know, 500 plus people. And I think really that's going to help me as I go on and go off into college. You know, I've worked on my public speaking, talking in front of people, and that's helped me a lot, as well as just gaining new experiences to share and have stories for other people as I move on throughout life, telling them about this great rally that I put on when I was in high school.
So you're a senior this year,
I am.
What are your future plans?
Well, I've not picked a college yet. It's been narrowed to a few, more in California. So, well, hopefully, I get accepted. That's the plan. So.
If you go away, we want you to come back.
Okay.
All right. And Callie, have you made plans for your future?
I'm starting to. I'm just trying to line up a couple of colleges I want to apply to and making sure that I have all my ducks in a row when I get to that point. But I have some time.
It's a big job. It's a big job. Thank you both very much. Now, if you'd like more information, there's a variety of ways you can find out more. You can call 402-436-1974. You can email mlkyouthRally93@yahoo.com. Again, thank you all so much for being with us today. Good luck with your future team. And thank you for joining us for City Focus.